The orthoPAC podcast, hosted by Sam Dyer, Chuck Dowell, and Miles Gilbreth. Welcome to the orthoPAC podcast, where we attempt to fill in the gaps between education, current events, and real-world practice. Welcome back, listeners, where we continue our discussion with Kat Dons on women's empowerment in the physician associate profession. Expanding access and impact. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of statements, and then I would like to get your thoughts on it. So, empowered women PAs are more likely to engage in outreach, education, and advocacy, especially in underserved communities. Their leadership in community-based programs and health equity initiatives helps broaden the PA profession's reach and relevance. So, Kat, what do you think about that? How might empowered women PAs be more likely to engage in community outreach and health programs?
I'd like to go back on one of the projects that we did with PAs for We. I'm particularly proud of us. We launched a community outreach program that we called Pack the Purse, where we coordinated our members to collect handbags and to donate hygiene products, office supplies. And we stuffed all of those handbags with all of the things that we collected, and we brought them to various domestic violence shelters in multiple states. The supplies enabled women to get back up and get back into the workplace when they're coming from an impossible situation. A lot of these people have just picked up with whatever they could hold, usually their children, and walked away from an abusive home. So we gathered the tools that she would need in order to take care of herself. Being empowered means that not everyone can pull themselves up by their bootstraps, especially if they don't have any boots to begin with. So we want to make sure that we even out the playing field as best we can, even if it's a matter of just being kind and acknowledging that somebody may not have all of the same resources and wherewithal that I myself might have. We acknowledge that we are allowed to take up space, and then we are so empowered and so confident in our position that we make room for others to take up space as well. I've always said that the life is not, it's not a metal podium. You don't need to knock somebody else off in order to claim your own spot. And I think that that's something really important that it bears repeating over and over again, to say that I have earned this spot. I am not moving from this spot. And now there's room for everyone else here too.
Great. So let's talk about future. Let's talk about what are some next steps. So following with the same theme, inspiring the next generation, visibility of empowered women in the PA field inspires students and early career professionals to pursue leadership and innovation. Mentorship programs and educational resources ensure that future PAs enter the field with confidence and support. So, Kat, what resources are available to spread the word and call women empowerment to action? And then the second part of that is, how can we do this in orthopedics?
Less than 6% of orthopedic surgeons are ortho PAs, as you mentioned, are 50% female. I myself did an ortho rotation when I was a student. And I remember when I said that I wanted to do that, my advisor looked at me and he goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You're like 5'2" and 130 pounds soaking wet. You do realize it is a very physical position." And I said, "All right, well, get me a surgical helmet. I want to reduce that hip. I want to replace that knee. I love power drills. So sign me up." We need to show women that they can boldly walk where not many have walked before. In academic institution settings, less than 50% of women knew that there was even a mentorship program in place. So making sure that our students and our new hires know about these resources is imperative, and know that there has been somebody that's done this before. Maybe there's not many, but there probably was. And if there wasn't, there's no reason why you couldn't be the first if that's what you dream of. It's hard to reach down to pull someone up, and it's hard to reach up to pull yourself up if you're in the dark and you don't know that the other is there. PAs for Women Empowerment has created a mentorship database for our members. We want to encourage PAs and our PA students to use it. We send out frequent reminders that it's there. You can search up a member by any state or specialty. You get their email address and go ahead and ask any of the questions that you may have. What's an underappreciated facet of our profession is that it's a really small network. Anybody who's been around for more than a few years knows that if I don't know the answer, if I don't know someone, I'm gonna find you someone who will, or I'm gonna find someone who knows somebody else. I always have the ability to do that. And I think it's the thing that I keep saying we can't fix the things that we don't know about, and we won't know about it if we don't talk about it.
Great. I didn't know about the mentorship program and list. That sounds like a great initiative. Have you guys had a lot of success with that? A lot of people using it?
I've had a lot of people interested in hearing about it. To my knowledge, we do offer, a little bit of privacy with it, so I don't always know when somebody uses it, but I hope they are. We only recently launched this in the last few months. So, we've encouraged our own members to sign up to be mentors or to be tutors, to be preceptors, or offer their experience as a lecturer for a PA program. And then we've encouraged the students in particular, or people who are moving to a different state or moving to a different field, to also utilize it as well.
And so, can you please share with our listeners one more time how they might, and I'm assuming anybody that's a PA, a female PA across the spectrum of specialties, whatnot, could use some help sometimes and mentorship and guidance. And how do they access that?
We have three different membership programs with our group. So we offer a
I'm sorry, Kat, let me interrupt real quick. You'd have to be a member of PAs for Women Empowerment.
You do have to be a
To,
member in order to
okay.
use our mentorship program. Students have a membership tier. I want to say it's $25 for a 2-year membership. So, I've bought pizza that costs more than that. And then we offer a tier of membership for people who have active AAPA membership. And then we also offer an additional membership for people who may not be active within the AAPA. And then anyone can log into our database where you can search for, somebody who practices in Pennsylvania or Idaho, or you can search for somebody who practices dermatology or palliative care. And then you'll get the email for somebody who is also one of our members who practices in either that state or in that field. And then you can reach out to them directly by email.
That is a great idea. And I can see that model kind of working in other areas too. That's a great idea. I love it. I love it. And I hope people that are listening to our voices will take advantage of it. I wrote a little something I wanted to read and then get your thoughts, Kat. In short, in summary, I guess, empowering women isn't just a moral imperative, it's a strategic one. It strengthens the PA profession's foundation and it ensures it evolves to meet the demands of modern healthcare. So, Kat, with that in mind, what closing thoughts do you have?
I wanted to share this story because I think it's kind of funny, but it summarizes who we are. While my colleague Erin and I were setting up our booth for the AAPA, before the convention center had even opened, one of the vendors near us was preparing food to give away. And I was like, that smells really good. And I just walked right up to this woman and I asked if I could have some. And Erin goes, what are you doing? They're not ready. That's not for you. That's for people that they're going to talk to. And I said, well, they can say no, and then I'll walk away, and I've lost nothing. They're not going to say, no, not only can you not have this food, but now you're going to have to give me your food. And you know what? They just gave me a bowl, and it was delicious. So I'm shoving food in my face, and she looks at me, she goes, "That looks really good." And I said, "You should go get one." And she took pause, and I said, "You know what? I wish for you the audacity. Just go. Just go ask. You'll lose nothing by asking." And she did, and she got a bowl, and that kind of accidentally became our slogan for the year, where we say, "We wish for you the audacity. Just go forward. Just ask the question." You know, so what? Maybe they say no. Maybe they say yes, and maybe you'll be surprised. Um, but you won't know if you don't ask.
That's so true. Yeah, the answer if you don't ask is always no, right? And you never know. So you might as well ask. Absolutely. Well, I want to have you guys at our meeting. How can I get somebody to come to our meeting and have a booth and talk about this stuff?
Sure, yeah, like a convention or a
Yeah,
conference.
we're having our annual meeting in Vegas. Now it's kind of soon for that. September the 1st through 5th or 6th or whatever. And yeah, I'd love to have you guys there with a booth and just for a couple of days
Sure.
if there's interest. I think there's such a need for this that I'd love to have you come out. And then we can go from there and we can talk about this off the air.
Sure.
It's short notice, but after talking with you, I'd love to have either you or one of your colleagues set up a booth and have a resource for people that are more intelligent than me and have more relevant questions than I could come up with. So I would really love to have you guys there. So we can talk about it after and go from there. But folks, thanks Kat Dons for being on the podcast today. Kat with PAs for Women Empowerment. What did you call it? PA We?
PAs for we.
PAs for We. I love it. And the mentorship program as a member, I think if I heard right, as an AAPA member, there's a leg and you can join separately. There's a student thing. And with the number of female PAs that we have, or women PAs, I think there's a big need for what you guys are talking about. So I think this is a good thing. So Kat, I appreciate your time today and I look forward to talking to you more in the future.
Sure, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining the orthoPAC podcast. We also welcome you to visit our website, paos.org, where members can download virtual conference content and get Category 1 CME. Also, if you're a non-member and you're interested in our CME content, please visit the aapa.org Learning Central